I just got this book back from CGC. Now, if you saw a video I did a few weeks ago, you might remember that CGC damaged this book the first time they graded it. Because when I got it back, I looked and this bottom right corner had just been smashed. There were extra bends and creases and the cover was more loose. And so obviously that was a real bummer. And so I contacted CGC customer service. They were very helpful, and I ended up submitting a mechanical error form and returned the book back to them. Now, once they got the book back, they pressed it to try to fix as much of that damage as they could. But when I'm looking at it, they didn't get everything. It was impossible. There were just extra color breaking creases. But they did the best they could, and then they sent it off to be regraded. Now, this regrading doesn't have anything to do with its original grade because it was damaged. If you send it in for a reholder, it's supposed to retain its original grade. But if the book had been damaged and there's a mechanical error, you don't have any guarantee what the grade of this book is going to be. And it's especially a bummer for this book because this is a Mark Jewelers variant. So it's a pretty unique, rare book. And the good news is that it was originally graded at a 3.5. So even if it does drop, it can't go but so far down. And also, when you get to those lower grades, there's even more subjectivity involved, I think. And so, if I got a harsh grader that first time and I got a regular grader the second time, there's a chance that it's still a 3.5. I don't think it should be. If it had been a 3.5, I don't think it should have that grade now. But I think it could have that grade now. I think it's more like a 3.0 now, maybe even a 2.5. And so we are going to see. And if it has the same grade, then obviously I'm excited and pleased with that. If it dropped, then I'll have to contact CGC again and talk about them reimbursing me some amount of money based on the fair market value of this book. So I'm a little bit nervous, but I guess the best thing to do is just to rip off the Band-Aid. All right, it had been a 3.5. What does it? Oh, right, it maintained the 3.5. Wow. All right, well, I'm super happy with that. They fixed it. And I guess I had a difficult grader the first time, or again, since it was already a 3.5, just another flaw or two, didn't make it a big deal, and it retained the grade. Now, deep down, I kind of wonder, even though the original grade is not supposed to affect this regrade at all, it's just supposed to be a completely new regrade, I wonder if CGC tells the regraders, hey man, this was originally graded at 3.5. If it's anywhere close to that, just give them that grade because we don't want to have to send this guy some money. Did that happen? Who knows? Probably not. Probably I'm just being a little overly critical. And again, there's just a wide range of what it can be at 3.5. And so it was just able to maintain that grade. So, man, super happy, super excited about that. Now, before I go, I want to share a couple of tips about sending your book back for mechanical error. First of all, if you want CGC to consider accepting responsibility for mechanical error, they give you a deadline of 14 days from when you received the book in the mail to submit a mechanical error form. Now, you don't have to send the book in those 14 days, but you have to at least submit the form. And that's what I did. I submitted this actually on the 14th day. It was kind of in the middle of a crazy time, but I thought, oh shoot, the 14th day, I got to submit it. And then because it was in a crazy time, I didn't actually send the book in for another few weeks. So you don't have to send it in 14 days, but you have to, again, fill out that form within those 14 days, or they're just going to say, hey, too bad, sorry, you waited too long. Secondly, once you submit that form, then CGC is going to give you a label that you can ship the book back to them for free through FedEx. However, If they get the book back and determine that there was no mechanical error that they are responsible for, then they are going to turn around and charge you for that shipping that they had previously paid. And so you don't want to just send your books back for mechanical error willy-nilly, like, oh, I think there might be a bend that wasn't there beforehand. You really want to make sure that there was some issue on CGC's end before you take that chance. Unless, maybe it's a really high value book and you know that, man, this is going to potentially cost me hundreds or thousands of dollars, and you're just willing to roll the dice with the shipping. But otherwise, you don't want to just send a book in unless you're confident. I mean, I was super confident that CGC had messed up on this book. Thirdly, if you're unsure whether CGC damaged your book and you think they might have, but you're afraid to take that risk on the shipping, then you can call their customer service, and they're very helpful in helping you to determine whether or not the fault was on their end. And you can send them pictures, and they'll look at it and compare it to pictures that they took of the book before they slabbed it, and then be able to give you a good idea. And of course, they can't guarantee that, oh yeah, it's definitely our fault, but they can give you a pretty good idea of, yeah, that definitely looks like something that we did. A common mechanical error, they're pieces of plastic. Yeah, I see those pieces of plastic in there. You're safe to send it back. But that's just an option that you can choose if you're kind of on the fence of whether or not to send it. And then if they tell you, well, yeah, we don't really see anything that we did, then you might want to hold off. But of course, ultimately, the decision is going to be up to you. So tell me what you think. Have you ever had to send a book back to CGC for mechanical error? If so, did you find the process easy or hard? If they damaged a book, did you find that it came back with the same grade, or did you take a big hit? I'm curious to hear your stories if you have any. Now, of course, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you consider doing so. Like, comment, do all those things to help me out. And thanks for watching. And as always, I look forward to the next one.